All right, guys, there's been a lot of talk recently over the last couple years how everything is so expensive now. Life has become so expensive, nobody can afford it. All these kids coming out of college, they just can't find a job that gives them money to be able to buy a new car, a computer, a house, a phone. It's miserable. Everybody's broke, essentially. And I've been pretty much saying for the last couple years, yeah, cost has gone up for certain things like houses. Rent is definitely up a little bit, maybe a couple $100 more than it was 10 years ago. In some places, even more. But a lot of people's problems are they're just overspending. They're buying $50,000 cars when they should be buying $10,000 used cars. They're buying $500,000 houses when they should be in a apartment or a roommate situation like I was in my 20s. And I think a lot of the problems right now are people just don't know how to manage their money. So over the last hour, I've been looking price comparisons of the 80s and 90s and today, and almost everything is cheaper today than it was in the 80s and 90s, except for maybe houses and things like that. But you also have to factor in that salaries have doubled to tripled over the last 30 years. Anyway, here's a TikTok video. We're going to react to some of these TikTok videos, go into the comments, and I'll give my take on what's going on.
It is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things.
I did a video last time. My car is worth $5,000. It's a Mazda 3. It's going to run another 100,000 miles. I bought it used 4 years ago for $10,000. So $10,000 car I've already been driving for 3 years. I put like 60 or 70,000 miles on it, and it's worth about $5,000 or $6,000 right now. And I'm actually thinking about selling it to buy another used car. So yes, guys, you can buy a used car. You don't have to be driving around in a brand new car. In fact, I just washed my car. You can watch my previous video. It looks great. This bald fuck right here, this bald fucking loser, because that's what he is, he's basically telling you you have to go out and buy a $50,000 car. You don't have to do it. And this is part of the problem. There's any Japanese car, Toyota, Honda, you buy it used, it's gonna run you another couple years, 100,000 miles. They go pretty much forever. Maybe you have to rebuild the transmission or something like that. It's a couple $1,000s, but nowhere near the cost of buying a new car. So right now you're getting bad advice. Not to mention $75,000 is a good salary. Very few places in America you can't live comfortably on $75,000. New York City, California, maybe not. Where I live in Maryland, you can get yourself a house and a used car and live quite comfortably for $75,000.
An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later.
Then don't buy a new car. Oh, but on top of that, my car insurance is about $50 a month.
So after those two things come out of their paycheck, and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that.
$879 to be able to cook for yourself. I can tell you right now, I go to Aldi, which is a supermarket around me. They also have Walmart supercenters. For $10, you can get a big bucket of food. Rice, chicken, tuna. I get big bags of shrimp for $5. I get a big stack of potatoes for $2, a big stack of bananas for $1. Again, This is part of the, and even if you go into the comments right here, $30,000 for a car, that's a lot. I recently purchased a used 2021 Toyota Corolla with 44,000 miles for only 18,000. My car insurance is only 130 a month. And I will give him one thing he said: if you're younger, you're going to pay more for insurance. You absolutely are. But if you have a 2012 Toyota Corolla, even if you're 21 years old, you're paying like $150 a month for insurance, which is definitely high, and there's no way around it. But if you get yourself a Tesla or a brand new $50,000 car, you're paying $600 a month for insurance. There's a big difference. My point is, what you're seeing here is kind of a loser mentality. Here's another comment: at $75,000, save $10,000 and buy a decent used car. I will not shut up. So basically, it's almost like this guy, and not just this guy, a lot of these other people, they almost like work for like the government, or they work for like these car companies or something like that. Like, oh, you have to buy a new car. Oh, you have to get a luxury $1,700 a month apartment. I don't know where this guy's from. I guarantee you can find a $1,200 a month apartment or a roommate situation within the vicinity of where this guy's from. Yeah, if he's living in downtown LA, maybe not. Maybe you have to go on the outskirts, or maybe you shouldn't be living in LA, or maybe you're just going to have to get a roommate situation. I lived with roommates until I was like in my mid-20s. There's just a lot of bad advice out there, and there are certainly ways to live cheaper. All right, I don't like this guy, but let's see what else he has to say.
You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your.
Okay, I gotta just keep going back and forth. $250 a month in gas. I was a private investigator. I still am, putting like 30, 40,000 miles on my car. I don't think I was paying more than $250 a month. If you have a regular job, a Honda Civic getting you 40 miles per gallon, you're not paying $250 a month in gas. Maybe you're paying $20 a week or something like that. Again, this guy is just off the charts on what he's spending. I guarantee this guy has bad credit and all sorts of judgments on his record.
Phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity,
My internet's $35 a month through Fios.
$80 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, Don's $300. Shut up.
Yeah, as you can see, this is just like an angry guy giving people bad advice. So anyway, this is a part of the problem out there that I'm seeing, and I'm not denying that certain things have gone up in price. Rent has definitely gone up. Housing has definitely gone up. But even when I was like 25 years old, I'm 45 right now, I remember it was like $1,100 or $1,200 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in Maryland, where I live. Now that same apartment is about $1,500 a month. That's about a $300 to $400 increase in rent, but salaries have essentially doubled since then. I can tell you, when I first got into the corporate security world back in the early 2000s, they're paying people like $12, $13 an hour. Now those same jobs are paying $25 an hour. So it kind of does work out. But the big problem I'm seeing right now is all these younger people driving brand new cars, which is essentially keeping them in the gutter. I was also looking at this up, like TVs. I remember growing up, TVs were very expensive. Now you can go out and get yourself a 50-inch TV for like $150, $200 new. When I was a kid in the 90s, my dad would wait a year to buy a TV when they would go down in price. They were the old school tube TVs, and he'd spend like $1,500. But let's just look at LCD TVs. This says right here. So in 2000, an LCD TV was $10,000. Okay. In 2010, it was $1,500. In 2024, it was $500 for a 65. I've seen 65-inch TVs for $350, $250 on sale. So TVs have certainly gone down in price. What else has gone down in price? Washers and dryers. You would think, okay, washers and dryers, maybe they're a lot more expensive now. Well, let's take a look at this commercial from the 90s.
In 1 out of 2 homes in America, people come home to Kenmore appliances. Like this extra capacity washer and matching dryer, just $399.87 and $329. Only at Sears and Sears brand.
So this is a store brand Sears. You don't have a lot of Sears anymore, but they were really popular. It's kind of like a Best Buy, but they had everything. So they're selling, what was it, $400 for a washer. This is a basic washer. So how much are washers now? I'm going, washers must be a lot more money now, right? Maybe they're $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. No, they're about the same price. Here's a brand new washer and dryer at Best Buy for $429, and you can get them for $399, $350. You can get refurbished ones for $299 that I've seen. So washers and dryers are essentially the same price they were 30 years ago. So washers and dryers haven't gone up in price, and that goes for every single appliance, not just washers and dryers, okay? Let's see what else. How about computers? Are computers cheaper now? Or are they more expensive now? Everybody has to have a computer, right? You can't even live without a computer. It's the most important thing. Were they more expensive in the 80s or 90s? Or are they more expensive now? I don't know. Let's see.
Family.
Yeah, I'd like to buy this $1,200 computer.
That'll be $5,300 complete.
$5,300.
What with monitor, software, disk drive,
Etc., etc. Oh. How much is that $1,000 computer?
$4,400.
How much is that $1,400 computer?
$3,900.
No, Max. The 1400 is 4800. The 600 is 3900.
I thought the 1100 was 4800.
Some computer companies give you a lot of options. Kpro gives you a complete computer for $12.95.
So that was a bargain basement computer in the late 80s, $1,300, while most of the other computers were $4,000 or $5,000. Okay, that's a lot of money. How much is a computer now? All right, so I'm a student. It's 1980s. I need a computer. I'm spending $1,300, maybe $4,000 for a computer. Now I can go out and buy the cheapest computer with Windows. That's going to get me on the internet. I can do Microsoft Word, Office on it. It's going to get me through. It's got a CD-ROM drive, $125. You guys starting to see what I'm seeing right now? Another thing I've been noticing is food. Everybody's like, it's so expensive to go out to dinner. And yeah, certain places are expensive and certain places will rip you off. But it comes down to you have to actually do your research before you go out to dinner. You have to find the deals. Okay, right now in Maryland, we have a chain called Green Turtle. I go all the time. And all the other chains in Maryland, the Chili's, the Fridays, the Applebee's, they're all doing the same thing. They have these meal deals. Here's one I've been getting for the last 6 months on the weekend. $10.99, I would get a veggie burger, or you can get a regular burger with fries. It comes with a salad, a cup of soup, and a drink for $10.99. Or you can like up it and get like a Krabby Melt or like something bigger for $14.99. I spend $10.99, and it comes with a drink, an iced tea, a lemonade, or a soda. How is that more expensive than it was in the early 2000s? Guys, I'm 45 years old. I've been going out to dinner weekly with my friends, with my wife. Nothing has changed with food prices. If you don't do your research and you just go to an expensive restaurant that's doubled the price and you're willing to pay it, that's on you. Drink prices haven't gone up. It's still $6 to $8 for a freaking drink. If you go to an expensive restaurant, it's $10. But I can go out with my friend and get a $12 meal. I'll get a few alcoholic drinks with it for $6 a pop. That's no different than it was in 2021 when I was 21 years old, going out to the bar, going out to dinner. Nothing has changed. The people that are saying it has changed are the people that are just paying the high prices. I mean, yeah, I can go to an expensive restaurant and spend $30 for a burger, but I'm not going to do it because I do my research before I go out. I make sure I'm not going to get ripped off. And that's part of the problem. People aren't doing their due diligence before they go shopping, before they go out and get food, before they buy a computer, before they do anything, before they buy a car. They just spend the money without doing any research, and they wonder why they're broke. Also talking about salaries, like I said, when I first got in the corporate security field, they were paying people 10 to 12 bucks an hour. This is like 20 years ago. Now that same job's paying 25 bucks an hour. The annual salary right now where I live in Maryland is almost $60,000 a year. That's what most people are making, $60,000 a year. You can absolutely live for $60,000 a year. But let's see what the salary was in 1999. So the average salary in 1999 was $40,000. It's gone up about $20,000 in the last 20 years. So yes, housing prices have gone up more than the than your salary. But rent prices really haven't. If you're paying $1,100 for an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment in 2025, and now that same apartment's $1,500, well, you did get a $20,000 pay boost.
The general sense of just disdain and burnout and fatigue that is coming off of the general public is palpable. Like, it's ridiculous because prices just keep going up. They just keep going up. And people complain about them going up, but then nothing gets done about it. And you know what? They're going to continue to go up. They're just going to keep raising the prices because they can.
Okay, this lady works retail, and she's complaining about prices going up. Now, maybe whatever, she didn't say what kind of retail job she has, but I'm just trying to think, like, over the last 20 years, like, I feel like everything's gone down. I mean, I go to Walmart, I get a pair of shoes for $15. I get a t-shirt for $5. I've been going on Temu a lot lately. I'm not sure if you guys been on Temu. There was no Temu when I was 25 years old in 2005. If I want to get a shirt, I had to pay $20 for a shirt. Now I can get it. I can go on Temu. I can go on Walmart.com. I can get a pack of 3 shirts for like $10. I mean, I was just on there the other day. I was on Walmart.com the other day. I bought 5 pairs of shorts for like $40. Khaki shorts. I remember when I was like 16 years old, I spent like $150 on 5 pairs of shorts. So again, this whole like everything has gone up, and like I don't doubt certain things have gone up, but there's always a workaround. Now, if you look in the comments here, you hear somebody saying, I work for PetSmart, and people are feeling the prices of pet food so bad. Like, I have a dog. You can probably see the dog in the background. I've had dogs all my life. Pet food is actually still pretty cheap, but even for my dogs now, we don't even use pet food. We'll go out and get one rotisserie chicken at Costco's and make some rice, because I don't really believe in the whole dog food thing. Rotisserie chicken's like $3, $4. It lasts the whole week, and the rice is like 50 cents. My dog eats for about $4 a week. Real chicken and rice. And of course, we give them like bacon and scraps as well. But it is not expensive to feed your dog. I'm telling you guys, if you want to go to the pet store and spend $50 for a premium bag of dog food, that is on you. But there are certainly ways to feed your dog and your pet for cheap. There's ways to get clothes for cheap, shoes for cheap, everything for cheap. So another thing I was thinking about, how about video games? You know, I'm an 80s kid, grew up on the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Saturn, the 3DO. How much was the NES when it first came out compared to today? I mean, some cool commercials right here for Nintendo. I remember these when I was a kid.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo.
All right, so this was 1991 when the Super Nintendo came out. I believe that system was selling for about $200. But if you look at this right here. The Nintendo Entertainment System was released in 1985. Its retail price, this was just for the system, was $179.99. If you take that price and put it in with inflation and fast forward 30 years, that means people were paying the equivalent of $530 for a basic Nintendo that didn't even include a game. This is back in 1985. So if people were spending $530 for a system that didn't include a game, that would actually mean video game systems are cheaper today. Right now, I can get myself an Xbox One for like $250, $299. I can get myself a Nintendo Switch for $199. I know the new ones are more money. I mean, essentially, unless you're getting like the highest end next generation console, you're essentially paying less than you would have paid in 1985 or 1990. Here's another system, the Sega Saturn, that came out in 1995. I remember saving up all my money, bagging groceries to buy a Sega Saturn. I paid $500. I paid $399 for the system, plus I bought a game with it. It was like $500. Do you guys realize in today's cost, that's like $2,000 or like $1,500? That means back then, I worked all summer to save up for this system. I essentially paid $1,500 for a video game system. Nobody's paying no $1,500 for a video game system right now. So my point is, not even video games have gone up in price. Even if you look at the games, I actually found this to be amazing. So right now, your average video game for like Nintendo Switch is between $49 and $59.99. That's like the average price. You can get some for $29, $39. If I want to go out and get Mario right now for Nintendo Switch, I can probably get it for like $49.99 or $59.99. Look how much games were in 1985 for the NES. $44.95, some of these games. 44, some were 36, 44, some were 54. Here's Maniac Mansions for $54.99. Yes, sir, you could get some for $29, but the average price is between $49 and $59 for a Nintendo game in 1985. That means people were spending $150 in 1985 for a game. So game prices are actually cheaper now, and video game system prices are actually cheaper now than they were in 1985. So when people tell you that everything's gone up in price, they're absolutely wrong. Anyway, I'm not going to keep this video too long. I mean, you can find people on TikTok complaining all day about how they can't afford anything and about everything's too much money. And yes, rent has gone up a little bit. I agree. Housing prices has gone up. But a lot of these people, if you're some 25-year-old girl or guy or whatever, you're making 50 grand a year, you just got out of college, you're not supposed to buy a house. You're supposed to be living in a roommate situation, and you're supposed to be driving like a 1999 Honda Civic. You're not supposed to be buying a brand new car. You're not supposed to be buying a brand new house. You're supposed to be living within your means, and then by the time you hit 30, 35, maybe 40, you can get yourself a house. Just like everybody in my generation did. Nobody had a house in your 20s. We all waited till we were like 35 to buy a house. The problem with this generation is they come out of college, they get a job, maybe it's a good job, making 70 or 80 grand a year. They go out and they buy a $500,000 house. They go out and they buy a $40,000 to $50,000 car. So they're paying $2,000 a month for the car, another $500 a month for the car, and then their credit card bills, they're taking trips, they're buying all sorts of crap, and they have no money. When really all they had to do was get in a roommate situation, buy a used car, and just start saving your money and living within your means. So I agree. I get that some things have gone up. I get that house prices have gone up and things like that. But the American dream is still doable. It's absolutely doable. The problem is, I guarantee it, if you go down the list and find all these people that don't have any money and that they're broke, that have good salaries, all of them got in way over their head. I think one of the differences in my 20s, I probably wouldn't have been able to qualify for a house. They would have basically just told me to rent or get a roommate situation, which is pretty much what I did. But for whatever reason, I guess it's basically just peer pressure, whatever. People just feel like they need to go into debt. Buying a house, living in a luxury rental unit, buying a brand new car, and before you know it, you're basically making 80 grand a year, 100 grand a year, and you have no money because you went in way over your head. So, in a nutshell, I think most of what's going on right now is just basically a personal responsibility. People made the wrong decisions, they dug themselves a hole, and now they're basically on TikTok complaining. All right, guys, that's my 2 cents. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.